Hello, my name is Evan. I'm here with Kern County Law Library to present a video on how to petition for dismissal of old convictions, particularly for Kern County cases. This video may be of use to viewers in other parts of the state of California, but it's principally geared toward those who are looking to go to the Kern County Superior Court to ask that old convictions in Kern County cases be removed from their record. So this video is being made in particular to update viewers on some changes to local rules which took place in July of 2025. And we will continue to update videos as new changes develop. But for now, we're going to give you the most up-to-date guidance on how you can set your petition for consideration by a judge, either through a hearing if it's a felony matter, or in a new special way if it is a misdemeanor case. So to find the information on how to navigate this process, you can go to the Kern County Law Library webpage, kclawlib.org. If you go to our self-help page, you can find all the resources you need to expunge your record. So when you go to our website, you can go to the presentation on what expungement is and what it is not. You can review terms for eligibility under California law. And you can also review this presentation I'm going to give today on how to fill out the forms to petition for old convictions to be removed from your record. Before we get into the preparation of the forms themselves, I'm going to show you how to find an essential thing that needs to go into your paperwork, and that is the information about the cases that you want cleared from your record. So I'm going to be looking under the section titled Your Case Information on our webpage. So you can find the case search feature to look up your cases for Kern County Superior Court. If you click this link, you'll go to a new page where you can review your case information. On the case information search function, you can read the disclaimer and then go down to look under a criminal case search for the essential information to fill out your petition and order for your case or cases. So if you have the case numbers, if you've ordered a rap sheet or just gone to the clerks of the court to request your case numbers, you can search your case information by just plugging it in right here directly. Or you can go here to look by defendant name. In other words, you can just search with your first and last name to find cases that match that criteria. So if you have a name like Steve Allen, something that might have a lot of potential matches, you can change your search from 50 up to 200 potential matches. And when you answer the arithmetic question, you're ready to start the search, which would show all of the names and cases that match the criteria you provided. So the top ones are going to be the nearest matches. Steve Allen was what we searched, and we got a lot of Steve and Stephen Allen cases. You'll have the names of the defendants, the date that the case was filed, the year of birth of the defendant, so you can make sure that if you have a common name, you're not getting them mixed up with someone else. And you can look under the links here to look at the actual case information. So that's going to be the type of material that you need to complete the petition and the order to get your convictions off of your record. So you'll have your case number, the counts, the type of offenses, codes and sections, as well as the outcome of the case, the sentence, and so on. So I showed you how to do this so you can look up your own case information, because once you have that, you can get into filling out the paperwork and following the instructions on our webpage in the presentation titled, How Do I Fill Out the Forms? This is the first of the forms that you'll need to complete. And of course, you can download this from our webpage or from the California Judicial Branch website. This is the petition for dismissal, the CR 180. This is the form that you use to request that the court dismiss your old conviction or convictions if you have multiple cases. This slide represents one of the changes to the instructions that you're going to need to keep in mind. When you fill out your contact information in the top left corner of this form, you are the defendant, you're representing yourself, and you'll need to use your street address, city, state, zip in order to complete your mailing information. You want to include your telephone number, and this is a new development. You will want to make certain that you do not skip your email. If you're handwriting these forms, be sure to take your time and write legibly. And if you're typing these forms, be sure to take your time and double check you spelled your email correctly. And there is a very specific reason that I am giving this instruction. This is Rule 5.3.4 of the Superior Court, Kern County. And in paragraph 6, you can see that the clerk's office is going to notify the petitioner, if they are not represented by an attorney, of the outcome of their petition by email in misdemeanor cases. So right here you can see clearly stated that you should expect to receive word of your misdemeanor petitions by email from the court if you submit a misdemeanor matter in the Kern County Superior Court. So that's going to be an essential part of completing your paperwork correctly, is putting in an up-to-date current email that you check regularly. So once more, do not skip the email when you're completing this section of the form. You'll also want to make sure to fill in the address of the court accurately for the case that you are completing. So with the example that we're presenting here, it's a Bakersfield case. So the address for the Bakersfield court is displayed, 1415 Truxton Avenue. But if your case is a Lamont case, if your case is a Shafter case, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you fill in the proper address for the proper courthouse. So be sure that you take the instructions here as merely illustrative of how you fill out the forms. You're not going to fill in 1415 Truxton for cases set in the branch courts of Kern County. Again, as of July 1st, 2025, the local rule has changed and all misdemeanor cases will be handled initially ex parte. In other words, if you have only misdemeanors in your case, you may not ever have to actually go to court to have your petition reviewed and approved by a judge. Only petitioners in felony matters will select and fill in a hearing date for their cases. If you're doing a felony petition, here are the rules that you would follow in order to set your hearing date. First, you must select a date for your hearing that falls on a day of the week where the court hears motions. So for instance, if you're expunging a felony conviction at the Metro Justice Building in Bakersfield, the motion schedule runs Monday through Thursday. They do not do Fridays. The time is always 8:30 and the division is CC. Other courts keep different schedules, so you need to see our webpage for a list of those courts and their schedules they keep. Number 2, you must also select a date that is at least 15 calendar days after you serve, then file your documents. It would be 28 days later in Delano. You have to plan ahead. You need to pick a date where the DA and probation get their copies of your documents. And you file all your original documents with the appropriate criminal division with enough advance notice. So for instance, if you're preparing your paperwork and you get it served and filed on the 1st of the month, you can set it no earlier than the 16th of the month. Count out 15 days. That's how much notice must be provided. Finally, you have to pick a date where you're certain you'll be able to attend the hearing. If you schedule a hearing and you do not attend, your petition to clear your felony case will not be considered. So again, only if this is a felony case, you write your hearing information where the arrow is pointing, even though it says for court use only. You do not fill in a court date for a misdemeanor case. If your case is a misdemeanor, this will be left totally blank. Whatever type of case you have, felony or misdemeanor, you put your case number where the arrow is pointing. You should also take a moment to fill in your case number and your name in the blank space at the top of the pages of both your CR 180 and your CR 181. This is the section in the middle of page 1 of your petition for dismissal. The information about the convictions you want cleared goes in this grid, and that includes the date that you were convicted, the code section, the type of offense, and whether you want the offense reduced to a lesser one before it is dismissed. So how do you select what goes into your paperwork? Well, only some counts need to be included in your petition. You're going to be looking for charge dispositions that say things like pled guilty, pled nolo contendere, which is Latin for no contest, and then guilty verdict. Just as a note, the petition for dismissal was designed to help you remove convictions from your record, but as the form states, Some convictions may now be cleared automatically without you ever having filed a petition, just by automatic operation of law by the Department of Justice. If you had a felony cleared automatically and you have no more conviction, you can still use this petition as a petition to ask to reduce felonies to lesser offenses. But in our example here, you can see that the red boxes circle only 2 guilty pleas. Counts 1 and count 3 need to be included in this example, but there may be reasons to include others. The facts will vary on the basis of your case information. So when filling out that first part of page 1, you need to look at the disposition date. That's where the arrow is pointing. And that's going to be filled in the section right after the word date. Next, you have to find the code. And here the code for counts 1 and 3 are both VC. Yours may not say VC, and that is okay. This is just an example. Yours might say PC or WI or HS, some other code of the state of California for which there are criminal penalties. Whatever it says, just insert the code in the column titled code. Next, you get the section from this column. You put the sections in the column titled section. Find the type of case next. And these were both misdemeanor cases. The only possible answers here are felony, misdemeanor, or infraction. You don't have to include details about the charge in this case, things like driving under the influence or driving with a suspended license. That is overachieving. You only need to put felony, misdemeanor, or infraction in the box that we're pointing out with the yellow arrow. And the final 2 boxes on the grid ask you to answer a question with specialized knowledge you probably will not have on hand. If you have felony counts that you are trying to either reduce and or dismiss, this is the column for you. So felony counts ask in this column, can they be reduced to misdemeanors? If your counts are misdemeanors, then this is the column for you. This is asking whether or not your charge could have been reduced to an infraction. Your natural question might be, well, how do I know if my charges are reducible to lesser ones? Hundreds of these criminal offenses in California are what they call wobblers and wobblettes. And if you mark yes under these boxes and your offense is eligible to be reduced, the court may first reduce your type of offense from felony to misdemeanor or from misdemeanor to infraction, and then grant the dismissal. One option to check whether your offense is a wobbler or a wobblette is to take the code section that you filled in on the grid and Google whether it is a wobbler or wobblette or not. So example, if you search, is Penal Code section 242 a wobbler, you may find that there are law firms which have written detailed analyses of these codes and sections, and even state whether or not they are reducible from a felony to a misdemeanor. You may also just go straight to the source and Google the code section and find the text of the law that's posted on the California Legislature's webpage right here, where it's displayed in its most current form. And even if the court does not reduce your offense from a felony to a misdemeanor or a misdemeanor to an infraction, you may still have the conviction dismissed anyway. So once complete, this section tells the court the date of the final outcome of your case, the code and section of the conviction, and whether the court may reduce your types of offenses before dismissing the counts. And remember, this was just an example. The details of your case will definitely be different. If you have more than one count you're trying to clear from your record within a single case, then you can use up to 5 lines on the first page of this form, and you can use an attachment form if you need to add more. As long as the counts have the same case number and the same disposition date, you can put them on the same petition. Remember, if all the counts are misdemeanors, you will file with the misdemeanor department. If any count you're petitioning the court for is a felony, you should file with the felony department. So we've covered how to fill in your contact info, pick your hearing date, again, only for felony cases, and give information about the convictions you want dismissed. To fill out the rest of the form, you'll need your sentence information from your case, and you can find that on the same page that we looked up earlier for the case information. So as you continue filling out this form, paragraphs 2 through 7 all describe different ways you can qualify for this process. In almost all cases, you should only need to complete one paragraph from 2 to 7. All others would be left totally blank. There may be exceptions, but this is a good general rule. So read your sentence information to confirm the result of your case, and the next slide will show you where to look. This is that same case information display from earlier, and you can see boxed there the sentence information heading. In this case, you can see the petitioner had probation granted. This is very common, but your sentence may differ, so review carefully. Since the petitioner in this example was given misdemeanor probation, they would mark the box next to paragraph 2, stating they had either a felony or misdemeanor with probation granted. Marking box A means that you completed probation successfully. Marking box B means that you were discharged from probation ahead of schedule. And box C allows you to tell the court why you think your petition should be granted, particularly if you've had a petition denied in the past. So again, not all cases result in probation, and you may have had a very different sentence in your case. Paragraphs 3 through 7 are all different ways that people can qualify other than just being granted probation. For instance, in paragraph 3, if you had a misdemeanor or an infraction with some sentence other than probation, you can check the box next to 3 and answer the follow-up questions. If your conviction was for Penal Code section 647B, then you can check the box next to paragraph 4. If paragraph 5 best describes your sentence because you had a county jail sentence or felony prison sentence, you would check that box. Paragraph 6 is there if you had a prison sentence, which would, under today's laws, result in a jail sentence after Prop 47 realignment. And then paragraph 7 is if you had deferred entry of judgment in your case. The final numbers on the CR 180, paragraphs 8 and 9, you do not write anything next to them. These are pre-written for you to request reduction of eligible offenses to lesser ones and dismissal of your convictions. This is the prayer of the petition. At the bottom of page 3, you will date your document, print your name, and you will sign. After that, you are done with the CR 180. So your second form, the CR 181, most of this gets filled out by the court after your hearing. But even though you don't have to fill in a lot of information, a copy of this form will get served alongside the CR 180 on the district attorney's office and probation department before you file your original with the court. This is an image of the first page of the CR 181, pardon me. And this is all of the CR 181 that needs to be filled in. All you have to do is fill in the contact information and case information that you filled in on the CR 180, and the court will complete the rest either at the time of your hearing or after reviewing your petition ex parte. So with that, you've completed your petition for dismissal and order for dismissal, and you should review both for completeness. Now you will make photocopies of your paperwork to serve on the district attorney and probation department. After they've been served, you're going to file your original paperwork with the court, along with proof of service. We're going to have a video coming shortly on the subject of proof of service and how to get your paperwork served and filed to actually set your hearing as a felony petitioner, or to have your matter handled initially ex parte as a misdemeanor petitioner. And these will be displayed on the same page from which you access this video. This is already available on the Kern County Law Library webpage on our original page that we showed you on clearing your record through the How to Expunge Your Record page. You can see the instructions on what to do now that you filled out the forms in the little section titled, I filled out the forms, now what? And the presentation titled, How do I serve and file my paperwork? We hope that you found the instructions informational here and that you got some use out of this video guide. If you have follow-up questions that you'd like to forward to the staff of the Kern County Law Library, our homepage always displays our contact information. You can reach us by phone at 610-6325. All calls go to voicemail, so be sure to leave a detailed voice message. You can email us at the address listed here, or you can come during our walk-in hours to our address here. We're here Monday through Thursday, 8 to 12 and 1 to 4. And then on Fridays, 8 to 12 for walk-ins. Bear in mind, if you want to do your printing or your copying here, we do charge cash only for photocopying at a rate of 20 cents per page. Thank you. This has been Evan for Kern County Law Library, and hope you got some use out of this presentation.